Equalizer claimed the World Championship, edging the Carolina Crusher to be crowned the king of monster truck racing. At the end of 1988 in Louisville, Kentucky's Freedom Hall, here's what happened as the World Championship on the TNT Monster Truck Challenge was decided. USA won flip, but still defeated Bigfoot for the world title. Hi everyone, I'm Scott Douglas along with Chris Chapman, and today we're going to be reviewing the march to the 1989 TNT Monster Truck World Championship as we again go to Louisville, Kentucky's Freedom Hall. Now coming in, Equalizer had the big advantage over Carolina Crusher.
That's right, Scott, he did, and he only had to keep his truck running to get a national championship and hold off the Carolina Crusher, but that wouldn't be just enough for the Equalizer. He didn't want to back into this title. He went all out.
As you pointed out, though, he didn't really have to. Let's look at the point standings coming into the final round of racing. 2 nights in Louisville, Kentucky's Freedom Hall, and you can see the distance that Equalizer has put between himself and Gary Porter's Carolina Crusher. He just has to keep it together as we get into the action. You see Gravedigger there in 4th? Wait till you see the run he makes tonight. TNT Monster Truck Challenge in Louisville, Kentucky to crown the 1989 World Champion. Now, Carolina Crusher had to win every race this weekend in Louisville and hope that something bad happened to the Equalizer. Stomper got a good jump here, but you can see Crusher went on to win this first round matchup. And remember, everything you're going to see on ESPN today is a must-win for Carolina Crusher, but even that might not be good enough. Army Armstrong got by to talk with Gary Porter, trying to win a world championship, but knowing it was a long shot.
Gary, the starting line looks like it's the trick tonight. Real spooky late lead for you.
It is. I'm sort of coming over the hill a little ease, and then after I get my front wheels over the hill, I'm shifting the second gear and just put it to the floor.
So cool. What's the track like? Good, bad?
The track is a little bit rough in them cars. A little bit, the left lane is a little worse than the right lane, and we're getting a pretty good bit of air tonight.
Equalizer coming out to try and win the World Championship. Now, David Morris knew coming in he could kind of take it easy. He could kind of stroke if he wanted to borrow a term from a guy trying to win a NASCAR championship, but that was not the Equalizer style in 1989. Here he is matched up in the first round against playing for keeps Jesse Berge, and a promising driver out of Wyoming, Michigan. On that run, Equalizer set the tone for the weekend. First round, first of 2 nights at Louisville, Kentucky's Freedom Hall, showing everybody he wasn't going to coast to the World Championship. Mad Dog was the fast qualifier coming in, and he met Carolina Crusher in the quarterfinal round. Big test right here for Gary Porter and the Carolina Crusher. Mad Dog a surprise as fast qualifier, and Crusher wanted to show him, hey, maybe it was a fluke. I didn't go all out in the qualifying, but I know I got to beat you now. Crusher lined up and got him right here. Mad Dog said no fluke as he gave Carolina Crusher a good run, but Gary Porter out of Waynesboro, North Carolina got the win to move into the semifinals. But Equalizer was still around, and what Porter needed to happen, that being Equalizer losing early, was not happening. A good look inside the cockpit with David Morris en route to winning the World Championship of Monster Truck Racing on the Renegade's TNT Monster Truck Challenge. Morris lines up to go up against Buffalo TREMOR, John Kwasniewski, a newcomer from Buffalo, New York, who, friends, may be a real player for a World Championship in 1990. But here, a little overmatched when he tried to tackle the Equalizer in Freedom Hall. David Morris really laying down a shot in Freedom Hall. One more time, let's watch Equalizer. David Morris Buffalo Tremor with John Kwasniewski in an exciting side-by-side run at Louisville, Kentucky's Freedom Hall. More monsters coming right up on ESPN. The huge monster trucks lining up for the semifinals at Louisville, Kentucky's Freedom Hall. Rod Litzow drove USA 1 early in the year. You can see that Rod Litzow and USA 1 had their share of damages. But the damage was not only to the truck, it was also to Rod Litzow, who got banged up. And now Steve Wilkie had come to take over the driving of USA 1 in the final race of 1989. In this semifinal round matchup, the opponent was Gary Porter in the Carolina Crusher. Crusher, as I have documented earlier, needing to win each and every race to retain any chance at a world championship as he tried to catch the equalizer in Louisville's Freedom Hall. The True Value sponsored USA 1 and Rod Litzow certainly in a position to learn for 1990. No threat to have their third place position knocked off on the 1989 point. So it was certainly a situation where Steve Wilkie was trying to get a better feel. But Gary Porter and the Carolina Crusher flat had to win. And maybe that was part of the mind game going on right there as Porter refused to stage until USA 1 got to that starting line. Side by side in the semifinals at Louisville, USA 1 and Carolina Crusher. Doing what he had to do, Gary Porter's Carolina Crusher moved himself into the Monster Smash Final, where the possibility that he would meet Equalizer was becoming more and more evident. Equalizer is still to come, but Porter knew what he had to do and got it done right here, and that was to get to the Monster Smash Final. Steve Wilkie seems to be feeling a little more confident here in the late stages of '89 and USA 1, but just not quite enough to stick with the Carolina Crusher. Army Armstrong got a chance to spend some time after that run with Gary Porter of the Carolina Crusher. He got ready for one more crack at David Morris's Equalizer.
Well, Gary, as the year winds down, you're going out of this thing screaming, aren't you? You're looking super out there.
It does. The truck seems to be running good. It seems to be handling this course pretty good. I come over the dirt hill just a little bit too hard that time, and my front end bounced up on me.
How about Steve Wilkie? He's showing us he can drive a monster truck, isn't he?
He is. He's a pretty good driver. I sort of try to psych him out back in the pits and up there on the line. And